Sam Stein spoke about Obama's legacy on MSNBC, and this led to a backlash within the establishment media, and this almost met the bar of a scandal in terms of what gets attention. So let's watch this, and then we'll come back and discuss.
The argument here, Sam Stein from President Obama, it's not really about my legacy, it's not about my policies, it was about the candidate who lost the election, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I mean, this was as much a dig against Clinton as it was Trump from President Obama. And, you know, to a certain extent, you have to say, okay, the Democrats are maybe overanalyzing their loss a tiny bit because they did end up with 2.9 or 2.8 million more votes for their candidate. It was 80,000 votes in 3 states that really cost her. But then on the other hand, you look at the destruction of the Democratic Party under Barack Obama's leadership, and you have to wonder, you know, what was the political, what were the electoral benefits that he gave to the party? He leaves them in a much worse position. The states are decimated. They've lost control of the House and the Senate. The governorships are decimated. So yeah, maybe he is obviously a gifted candidate. He did win election twice by substantial margins. But you know, his legacy as a politician is a bit muddied by all that.
For the life of me, I can't figure out why this is a scandal. There are so many websites that I go to when I prep for the show had, you know, headlines about this, and Sam Stein goes after Obama and stuff, you know, in alignment with that. And that was such a tepid criticism. And all of it was pretty spot on. Because he said the Democratic Party was decimated under Obama. True, the state parties were decimated. They lost governorships, they lost state legislatures, they lost seats in the House of Representatives, they lost seats in the Senate. Obviously, now the president is going to Donald Trump. So there was a destruction of the party. The party's much worse off now. That's just factual. Like, there's no conjecture in that part. And the part where he is doing conjecture, and actually this isn't even necessarily conjecture either, but he's like, well, obviously he was a gifted candidate because he won twice. So he's even giving credit in the midst of saying, I mean, look, the party's kind of in bad shape right now, isn't it? But again, within establishment circles, this is like, did you really just say that? How could you say that? President Obama's wonderful. Like, what? So what, are you not allowed to criticize him at all? I don't understand, like, why, you know, I have a mixed view of President Obama. As everybody knows, I think he's a mixed bag, and I would have gone further than what he did. So the reason why the Democrats got their ass handed to them, apart from the obvious thing, which is lack of organization, is that, yes, you have, under President Obama, you have a party that went from, we are the party of change, we are going to go into Washington and shake things up and really rebuild from scratch, from the ground up, and make everything work for you, the American people. You had a party that had that core philosophy and message, and then after a while, what did it become? It became, well, instead of change, let's just go with incrementalism. Let's go with take your half loaf or take your quarter loaf and shut the fuck up. And if you want to go further than that, you're idealistic and you're naive and you're like Bernie Sanders and you're a democratic socialist and you're so far out there. You're so kooky for wanting to improve people's lives with the correct policies that, you know, just accept it. Accept that the best you're going to get is Hillary Clinton. Accept that the best you're going to get is the establishment. And when you drop that message of hope and change and you say, well, I mean, come on. What are we going to do? This is the best you could hope for, right? You know what people do? They say, fuck you. And look, it's not even a full fuck you, because people are still cognizant enough to be totally reasonable about Obama's legacy, which is why he has a high approval rating, which is why, again, I say he's a mixed bag, because he's done plenty of good things. So they understand, hey, we were on the brink of depression, and he came in here, now we're not on the brink of depression. So yes, you get credit for the good things that you did. But was it enough credit to keep the Democratic Party intact and give majority to the Democratic Party? Not even close. The Democratic Party got their fucking clocks cleaned in this last election. And even though Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by over 2.5 million votes, well, she knew the rules and she knew the states that she had to pick off and she knew where she was supposed to campaign, and she didn't, and they lost. So I think he's 100% right. I mean, all he's saying is, yes, Obama was a good candidate. Sure, he's a mixed bag, but the party under him has been destroyed. And it's been destroyed because now hope and change became incrementalism. Hope and change became establishment corporatist centrism. You know, the Democrats are still by far and away better on social issues. You know, they're still going to do the right thing on gay marriage nowadays. They're still going to do the right thing on abortion. They're still going to be slightly less hawkish, emphasis on slightly, than the Republicans. But it turns out that's not enough. It turns out the American people saw that, and when Hillary Clinton's response to Donald Trump, when Donald Trump said, "Make America Great Again," when her response was, "America's already great," you know, 50% of the people in the United States of America making $30,000 a year or less, they said, "You know, Hillary, it doesn't feel that great to me." And this message, this Reagan-esque feeling, this message of like, morning in America and we're doing so well, that day's gone, man. That argument, that fake cheeriness that used to be good for politicians, the robotic stay on script, be the most scripted and then you'll win, that's now out the window because there's this real populist rage in the country. Rightfully so, because people are getting screwed. Their jobs are getting shipped overseas because of trade deals. Their wages are stagnant. They know that Wall Street is robbing them. They see that they get the bailouts and the people don't get the bailouts. So now, you know what they're in the mood for? They're in the mood for somebody who is seemingly a straight talker who says, yeah, I'm going to fuck shit up there. I'm going to start breaking some windows. I'm going to go into Washington and I'm going to clean house. And we're going to make America great again. In this case, it was Donald Trump. And as I told you guys, this was the first time in my lifetime that the Democratic candidate came across kind of overtly as the candidate who's more in favor of the status quo. Never in my lifetime. Even when it was centrist Democrats running, like Bill Clinton, by all accounts, was a new Democrat, a centrist kind of Democrat. But even he, in comparison to George H.W. Bush and Bob Dole, even he was, yeah, I'm anti-establishment. Wait, you're going to go for these guys? These guys are the most pro-establishment people you've ever seen. So it was the first time in my lifetime you saw kind of a reversal of the roles. Usually the Republican says, I'm the insider, and you want an insider because you want things to go smoothly, and I'll keep business as usual, and I'm not going to change America that much. Well, this time it was the Republican going, yeah, we're going to make America great again. It's a shitty situation. I'm going to bring change. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. And Hillary like, whoa, pump your brakes. The status quo isn't that bad now, is it? So obviously you guys can tell there's a lot of different angles to this conversation here, but by and large, I think he's right. What he's saying is he's a gifted candidate. Obama is a gifted candidate. He won twice, so obviously he's good at something. In terms of how he governs, my take on it is he's a massive mixed bag, a lot of good things and a lot of really bad things. But yeah, the party was decimated under him, and if you don't like that, it doesn't matter because look at the numbers. It is just a fact that Republicans have the majority of state legislatures. They have the majority of governorships. They have the majority in the House of Representatives. They have the majority in the Senate. They have the majority. They have the presidency of the United States. So what do the Democrats have? I don't know. Has anybody counted the dog catchers? Is there a Democratic majority for dog catchers, sheriffs, something, judges, anything? Yeah, nobody knows. So they have everything. And yes, to a certain extent, you do blame President Obama. He's the head of the Democratic Party. He was the head of the country for the last 8 years. Again, that's not to take away credit from him when he does decent things, but when your message of hope and change becomes incrementalism and I have to cave to the Republicans on almost everything and, let me serve my Wall Street donors as I used to pretend that they were the problem and I was going to go after them, well, this is the result.